I bled for 12 years. Not one day, not one month. 12 long years. My strength faded. My money disappeared. My friends left. Even my family stopped looking me in the eyes. Every doctor said the same painful words. It cannot be cured. People crossed the street when they saw me. Mothers pulled their children away. Some whispered that I was unclean. Some said God had cursed me. I lived like a shadow. Silent. Exhausted. Waiting to die. But one morning I heard a name. A name that broke through the darkness like sunlight. Jesus. They said he healed the blind. They said he touched lepers without fear. They said demons ran when he spoke. And something inside me whispered, if you can touch him, you will live. I was too weak to walk. Too broken to hope. But faith pulled me to my feet. And that was the day everything changed. Let me take you back to where it began. I remember the days before the pain began. Days when my body was strong. Days when laughter came easily. Days when I walked through the streets of my city with a smile and people smiled back. I was a normal woman. A daughter. A friend. A dreamer. I planned for a family one day. I planned for a future. I had hope in my heart and strength in my steps. But sickness is a thief. It does not knock before entering. It does not warn you before it steals your joy. It started with a small drop of blood. Nothing serious, I told myself. Women bleed. Women recover. So I waited for it to stop. But it did not stop. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. And slowly, my life disappeared. The bleeding continued. My strength drained away. My clothes stained. My body trembling from weakness. I could not work. I could not cook. I could not even stand for long. Every morning I woke with the same question. Will it end today? And every night I went to sleep with the same fear. What if I never heal? At first people were kind. They visited. They prayed. They brought food. But months became years. 12 long years. And kindness turned into distance. Whispers replaced prayers. Some looked at me with pity. Some looked at me with disgust. Because a woman with constant bleeding was called unclean. Not just sick. Unclean. I could not touch anyone. I could not sit where others sat. I could not join the crowd. I could not enter the temple. The law said I was dirty. My body became a prison. And my soul became a battlefield. I searched for help. I carried my last coins to every doctor people mentioned. Some promised healing. Some sold herbs. Some gave strange medicines. Some prayed over me. Some just took my money and smiled. But nothing changed. My strength fell. My hope faded. My pockets emptied. Pain took my body. Loneliness took my heart. I stopped looking into mirrors. I no longer recognized the woman staring back. Her face looked pale. Her eyes looked tired. Her smile was gone. Sometimes I sat outside my small room and watched other women walk by with their children. Healthy. Laughing. I wondered if God still saw me. Or if heaven had closed its door. Night after night I cried into my pillow until tears turned into silence. There is a point where the soul becomes too tired to cry. People stopped calling my name. Some forgot I existed. Some hoped I would die so they would not feel uncomfortable seeing me. I was not a mother. I was not a wife. I was not a friend. I was not even allowed to be part of society. The sickness took my money. The sickness took my blood. The sickness took my dreams. But the worst thing it stole was my dignity. I did not feel human. I felt like a shadow. Alive but fading. Many nights I asked God if he still remembered me. Sometimes I asked, why me? Sometimes I asked, when will this end? Sometimes I asked, will it ever end? No voice answered. No healing came. Nothing changed. 12 years of weakness. 12 years of shame. 12 years of watching life pass me by. I was breathing but I was not living. One morning when the air was still cool and the sun was crawling over the rooftops, I heard something unusual in the street. Not crying. Not gossip. Not the normal noise of merchants and animals. It was excitement. People were whispering fast, almost tripping over their own words. Children ran ahead of their mothers. Men stopped working and leaned forward to listen. I stayed inside my small room, too weak to stand for long. but the noise reached me through the window. Did you hear? He healed a blind man. He touched a leper and the man walked away clean. They say demons flee when he speaks. At first I thought it was just another rumor. Jerusalem always had rumors. Stories of prophets. Stories of healers. Stories that began bright and ended in disappointment. I did not want hope anymore. Hope hurts when it breaks. So I stayed quiet. I bent my head. I tried to shut out their voices. But the whispers grew louder. His name kept returning like a song carried by the wind. Jesus. Jesus of Nazareth. Some said he was a teacher. Some said he was a prophet. Some said he was something more, something heaven sent. I tried not to listen. But my heart listened for me. Later that afternoon, a group of women passed by my door. Their voices were soft, but I heard every word. I saw it with my own eyes. A man who could not walk stood up and carried his mat. Are you sure? Yes. Jesus touched him. Just touched him. Touched. That word cut deep. For 12 years no one touched me. Not a hand. Not a hug. Not even a friendly brush of a shoulder. People stepped away from me like I was a disease instead of a person. But this Jesus, he touched the untouchable. He was not afraid of sickness. He was not afraid of unclean people. He did not step away. He drew near. That night I lay on my thin mattress, eyes open, staring into the darkness. My heart beat faster than usual. Could it be true? Could someone like him heal someone like me? I had no strength left in my body. But something small woke in my heart. Something I thought died long ago. Hope. It was weak. It was trembling. But it was alive. The next morning, a young boy ran through the street shouting, "Jesus is coming. He is on his way." My breath stopped. People grabbed baskets, water jars, children. Everyone hurried toward the road. Something inside me whispered, "Go." But I was still bleeding. Still unclean. Still weak. I had no right to stand near him. No right to be in the crowd. People recognized me, they would push me away. Some might even stone me. Fear filled my chest like heavy smoke. But hope pushed back. If I stayed inside, nothing would change. If I hid forever, I would die in silence. I held onto the wall and stood. My legs shook beneath me. My body felt like dry leaves ready to break. But I stood. I wrapped a cloth around myself, trying to cover the stains, and stepped outside. The streets were crowded. I heard laughter. I heard shouting. I heard the excitement of a city waiting for a miracle. I knew I could never reach him face to face. I had no strength to shout his name. But if I could get close enough to touch even the edge of his garment. Just one touch. I whispered to myself, "You do not need his hand. You do not need his voice. You only need his presence." My heart answered, "If I can touch him, I will live." It was not loud faith. It was not strong faith. But it was real. And sometimes real faith begins as a whisper. Faith is small, but hope is loud. Jesus entered the city and the world around me exploded with noise. Women screamed his name. Men shouted for him to bless their children. The sick cried out for mercy. The blind reached out with empty hands. I had never seen so many people gathered in one place. Every street was full. Every window had faces watching. Dust rose under the feet of the crowd like a cloud. I stood at the back, hidden in the shadows, afraid to take another step. What if someone recognized me? What if they pushed me away? What if I could not reach him? My heart beat fast. My body trembled. My legs felt weak. But then I saw him. Jesus. He did not look dangerous. He did not look proud. He walked slowly, listening to every voice, touching every person who reached out. He was gentle. He was kind. He was nothing like the men who judged me. And in that moment, my fear bowed to something stronger. I stepped forward. The crowd pressed together, shoulder to shoulder. I tried to push between them, but my body was too weak. They did not notice me. I was invisible. Someone's elbow hit my shoulder. Another person pushed me aside. My breath broke in my chest. But I did not stop. I bent down and slipped between bodies like a small breath of wind. Feet moved around me. Sandals kicked dust into my face. Someone stepped on my hand and I bit my lip to keep from crying out. The world became a blur of legs and dust. I crawled, one hand in front of the other. My knees scraped the ground. My clothes gathered dirt. My fingers shook. Voices screamed his name, but he could not hear mine. I was too small in this sea of people. Too weak. Too broken. So I moved. Step by step. Breath by breath. Pain in my body but fire in my heart. He was close. I could see the edges of his robe brushing the ground. I reached out, but someone moved and blocked my hand. I tried again. My fingers slipped through dust and sandals. My heart pounded louder than the crowd. I whispered to myself, "Don't stop. You came too far to stop." Then through shaking arms and trembling fingers I reached again. My hand touched the hem of his garment. Not his hand. Not his face. Just the edge of his robe. And in a single moment the world went silent. The pain that lived in my body for 12 years vanished. The bleeding stopped. My strength returned like water to dry ground. Warmth rushed through my bones. My heart felt light, almost floating inside my chest. Tears fell down my cheeks and disappeared in the dust. I knew I was healed. Not later. Not soon. Immediately. My body felt alive. My blood felt clean. My soul felt free. I covered my mouth to stop the cry rising in my throat. For a moment I thought I might collapse, not from weakness but from joy. I touched him and life touched me back. His power entered me before fear could stop me. The crowd kept moving but Jesus stopped. His feet became still. His voice rose above every shout. "Who touched me?" The world froze. People stared at him, confused. The disciples whispered, "Pastor, the crowd is large. Many are touching you." But Jesus shook his head. "No. Someone touched me. I felt power leave me." My heart dropped into my stomach. I wanted to hide. I wanted to disappear into the dust. I wanted to slip away before anyone noticed. But healing had made my body strong, not invisible. I knew he was talking about me. My hands began to shake. My legs felt weak again, not from sickness, but from fear. What if he was angry? What if touching him was wrong? What if they pushed me away again? But something gentle in his voice pulled me forward. I crawled out from between the people. My hands trembled. My eyes filled with tears. And I fell at his feet. The crowd stared in silence. I whispered, "It was me. I touched you." My voice shook. My tears fell fast. I told him everything. The sickness, pain, the years of tears, and how the moment my fingers touched his robe, my body became whole. He looked at me, not with anger, not with judgment, not with disgust. He looked at me like I mattered. And then he spoke the word I never expected. "Daughter." My breath disappeared. My heart burst into light. In one word he gave me family. In one word he returned my dignity. In one word he told the whole world that I belonged to him. "Daughter, your faith has made you whole. Go in peace." Not only my body was healed, my soul was healed too. One word from him changed more than the sickness. Changed me. The next morning felt like a new world. My eyes opened, and for the first time in 12 long years, my body felt light. No pain. No weakness. No bleeding. The sunlight slipped through my window and touched my face like a kiss from heaven. I sat up slowly, not because I was weak, but because I wanted to feel every second of this miracle. I placed my hand on my chest. My heart was calm. My breathing was steady. My body was whole. I stood on my feet with no trembling. I walked across my small room with no fear of falling. Every step felt like freedom. When I stepped outside, the air smelled sweeter. The sky looked brighter. Even the dirt under my feet felt like soft ground. People walked past me without turning away. Some who once avoided my shadow now walked beside me and did not know who I was. I was not hiding anymore. I visited the market. I spoke with a woman selling bread. She smiled at me. No one stepped back. No one whispered. I was clean. As I walked, I saw a young girl crying by the well. Her mother was sick. The doctors said there was no hope. I knelt beside her and wiped her tears. "I know what it feels like to lose hope," I said softly. "But I also know what a single touch from Jesus can do." The girl looked up, and for a moment her eyes lit with a small spark of belief. Maybe that was my new purpose. Not just to be healed, but to tell others that healing is real. He found me when I was forgotten. He loved me when I felt unlovable. He touched me when no one else would. And if he could heal someone like me, he can heal anyone.